and I have not been back for a while now. It's a place that I come to a lot. It is a beautiful day, much better than I expected. The Katabatic winds are pushing out there, which is lovely. If you look up in the distance up there, that is the way up to the town of Jasper. I am here, of course, in Jasper National Park already. Drove up from the south, saw a bear. Are you ready for your first view of it? Here we go. Here comes our first peak. There we go. There's the Athabasca Glacier. Now we are August 3rd, I think. August 3rd. And it's, well, we had big rainstorms last night and the night before in Banff. I don't know here. Hey, good morning. So it is gorgeous. I'm with two ladies, two intrepid travelers. We're having an excellent time. They're from Missouri. And of course, you're up here at 6,500 feet above sea level, about 1,900 meters. So when you walk up the hills, you sure know it, but it is gorgeous here. And I just want to talk about a little bit. It was just such an opportunity to put out a quick little video here. Perhaps you'd be happy to let everyone know that we're live, but let's just switch this over. Hey, nice to see you. So the Athabasca Glacier. Up above it is the Columbia Icefield, the second largest non-polar icefield in the world. The same in Jasper National Park. So I think that puts me more in Treaty 8 up here. Jasper Park's boundaries extended down here by about 1930. Now, we've been watching. Hi, lovely to see everyone coming on board. So feel free to share these, but you start to feel the power of this. Now, as the water is coming off the glacier, that becomes the Sunwapta. And the Sunwapta then flows north through this valley, Sunwapta Valley, up along the endless chain, and then it pours into the Athabasca River, which is the one that skirts past town site of Jasper, beautiful Jasper. And then it flows, a long way up, eventually Lake Athabasca, and then out into the Mackenzie River system that leads all the way up to places you may have heard of, like Inuvik, and eventually out to the true delta at Tuktoyaktuk in the high Arctic. So this water flows in three directions. Out here, it's a tri-continental divide. So you have waters flowing down the Saskatchewan system, which is what we just followed up. And from that Saskatchewan system, flows all the way, of course, across the Canadian prairies and out into the Hudson's Bay. On the other side, flows down into the Columbia River system, of course, and therefore into the Pacific Ocean. And the rest of this water heading up to the Arctic Ocean. So it is a fairly dominant thing to see. You will see people are out there actually walking on the ice walks, and then of course the tours drive onto it. Also, just over here is really interesting. A big chunk of that gravel, that is the lateral moraine, has broken open, and you can actually see the ice under there. I have absolutely no problem at all bending down and drinking that water because it's small. I mean, there's been ice here up at the top of it for somewhere around 1.5 million years. Canada over the last 250,000 years has been totally covered in ice several times. Now that's receding enormously. Up where we turned to come down here, it showed the marker in 1890. And at the far end, I can't quite show you, but at the base of Mount Wilcott back there where the visitor center is, the ice was there in 1843. So this is what's happening. So there's the glacial flow coming out. So ice becomes water, as we all know. And this picture is up by the Athabasca Falls, if you've ever been there. So there's the rock flower. Interesting. One of the investments I need to do in the next little while is a new gimbal. This one is pretty much packed in. My other one did pack it in. And the one other one I have is in sort of bad shape. So it's just a little bit of a reality, although I haven't been able to do nearly as many live tours. I was out hiking with a couple of people from Florida yesterday. These ladies have been with me for 3 days altogether, and they even went swimming in Johnson Lake, so very impressive. And then I did have a good cold plunge yesterday, but we got away early this morning and we did see a bear. Oh, that's okay. It's okay. Come on over here, ladies. You got to say hi to everyone. So there we go. There's Paula and Sharon.
Hi.
So where are you from?
Ourselves. We are from Kansas City, Missouri.
And where are you?
Icefields.
The Columbia Icefields.
Columbia
This is
Icefields.
inside joke. But there we are. See, the wind's not too bad. But just since, I mean, I've been guiding tours here for so long. Like, I remember when the ice was right here in front of us. Like, that's how soon it is. So there we are. See? So you'll have that forever. Oh, you'll see, I disagree with any sort of graffiti whatsoever
I agree.
in the national park.
I agree.
Hey,
So, who spells it like that?
yeah, someone has misspelled. Maybe it's one of his followers, I'm not sure. Yes, look at that lovely clear water out here. Yeah, I do have to say, and it is actually a moment to say quite seriously, suddenly so many of the signs and garbage bins in the park, people are putting stickers on them and graffiti. I'm not accustomed to graffiti. I dislike it enormously. What we say here is take nothing but photo, leave nothing but footprints. And I think that's important. So right over here, we have the glacier in slow motion. Sorry, guys. So the Athabasca is one of the 6 glaciers that flow off of the Columbia Icefields. So, and then, yes, this is another thing people like to do, but again, I guess they're not doing any damage. It gets covered in snow in the winter, but it's not necessary either. Come out and enjoy the nature. And there's someone who stepped over the boundaries as well. It happens. Hi there. Oh, it's so nice to see so many familiar faces or names. I miss everybody. So this is where it becomes quite poignant here. So if you look at this, the glacier was here in 2006. Now, I just want to put that into a little bit of perspective. I just wait for my 2 companions. Have a look at this, ladies. The glacier was here in 2006.
Wow.
Now, just to put that in a little perspective, I appreciate that I'm a very young person, but I did my first tour here. I led my first group here in 1996. That means this was all under ice, right? That's, yeah, puts it in some concrete sense. And then when you look at the lateral moraine along there, where it's kind of darker colored, that's where ice is seeping out. So there's ice underneath that. Now, just over this lateral moraine, which is the glacier squeeze out, there's some trees. Those trees, we'll get a better view when we go back down. Those trees, the average age, you ready for this? 650 years.
Wow.
But they only have 28 growing days a year on average. And they're surrounded by ice, so no disease gets in. That was pretty amazing. Mount Athabasca with the big hanging glaciers up here. So the tours, when they drive up and down, they start usually in mid-May and they go on to about according to weather. And I mean, it's pretty industrial tourism, right? They bus you down, you go on a big bus, then another bus. But it is one of the few places you can drive on a glacier. And part of their promotion now is come see it while it's still here. So that is how quickly. Now again, glaciers have ebbed and flowed, but suddenly we're seeing this acceleration and everything. We had a beautiful view of Pito Lake and it wasn't too busy. And these ladies even walked down onto rock pile. And do you remember the little animal you saw? He's called a pika.
Yes.
Or pika. And the pika looks a little bit like a mouse, but they're a unique animal that we measure for climate change. Beautiful little things. We heard them chirping. Lots of flowers out there. It is the accelerated climate change is heartbreaking. It's the fact that we can core these things and you dig into them, and we're going back into history. So, you just put down a core into this ancient ice, and you can see volcanic eruptions. You can see when the Industrial Revolution started. So, that's all one factor. And then I do like the fact that you've got people out there waving and a very clear "do not cross this boundary" sign. Now, that is quite safe over here, but why glaciers are so walks, they're always in groups and they're always roped together. And that's because glaciers flow. And when they flow over an edge, crevasses open up. So when you watch the films, yep, you're seeing there's one person on their own, yeah, and I don't know, if they're not a licensed guide out there, they can really get in trouble, and they should. But when you watch films of people climbing Everest and K2, they're carrying ladders. That's not for going up. It's for going over the crevasses.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how incredibly dangerous.
I wouldn't want to carry a ladder.
Oh, the gear they carry is just amazing. Yeah. And I mean, we hear all about the amount of garbage and everything up on Everest in the high camps, which is such a shame.
What they're trying to do is get there and walk on it?
No. Well, they're just goofing around. I think they're probably, there's a zigzag path. So they're just walking over the edge. You know, the reality is they're probably quite safe now as long as they're this side of the river here. But you see the exposed rock. They know there's no more ice there. But there's ice in other sections. You all see that giant boulder?
Yes.
You never know when one's going to fall off these cliffs.
Oh.
So that's why we're way over here. You know, Parks Canada does real study. So we're in a nice safe place. And so when they drive down, like the big snow coach there in the distance, driving out, it drives down to a plowed area where it's safe to get off the buses.
Is it open on top or is that glass all on top?
It's not glass, it's just a roof actually, but they're quite big windows in it. The original ones were like little tanks and the windows didn't open and there's no airflow, so they called them shake and bakes.
Oh.
Yeah. But it is pretty remarkable up there. So obviously we came up from the south. This is Mount Wilcock and Wilcock Pass down through here. Down south, of course, we go around the Big Bend and we're back down in Banff. But straight up here, in an hour you'd be at the Athabasca Falls. And then an hour and a quarter, hour 20, you're coming into the town of Jasper. That's where the fires were, the south end of Jasper. That's the section of Jasper that burned about an hour north of here. So pretty emotional time up there for everyone from around here. So how are your legs feeling? See, the wind is nice, so that's that Katabatic wind.
Yeah, we can do some
I think that's a great idea. It's a lovely thing to do. So it's busy, but not crazy busy. But I tell you what I'm going to do, so it was good to connect with everyone. I'm going to sign off and take some photos of these young ladies here. So, hey, thanks for catching up quickly at the Icefields. As soon as I get a good free day with good weather in Banff, I promise a tour. Anyway, thanks for connecting, everyone. Feel free to share this video. Nice to see you. Keep in touch. And I'll see you traveling soon.